I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz...
Oh, don't tell me.
Hi, guys. All right. Welcome to the Vanderpump Rules after show here on AfterBuzz TV. This is a special edition. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is a special edition. This is a special edition of our Vanderpump Rules after show that is going to center around the current controversy surrounding Vanderpump Rules and the removal of 4 cast members, as well as it relates to the much needed and very important discussion of Black Lives Matter. So today I'll be moderating. I'm your host, Jeroslyn JoVonn, and we have our usual moderator, but today she is here to speak her piece as well as say on our live chat, Rivet Sorro.
Hi, guys.
You look so cute with your ponytail.
Thank
and we have our favorite lit baby commander in twerk, Miss Katie Thompson.
Hello, my gosh, what an intro.
Yes. And we have the usual person who does Vanderpump News, and she's just amazing, and I love her. She'll be doing news on this show, Johnsen.
What's up, guys? My Vander crew.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here, Jane. We love you.
Love you guys.
So ladies, we've actually all been talking like every day, all day.
Yes.
From
The chat.
Yep. Our chat has been going off. So first, I just want to ask you all, how are you all feeling? How are you feeling?
Overall, there's just like a feeling of sadness, not for Vanderpump, just with like everything that's going on with racism. I posted stuff on my Instagram, and the response, like some of the responses that I got are like pearl clutching. Like I can't believe that everybody doesn't have the same mindset on this one, because it's not politics, it's humans. Like I'm like disgusted. That's also a feeling I have. So that's a sad and disgusted is how I feel.
There we go. Jane, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible to at least see the amount of people that have been able to band together as part of this movement, because I feel like this is really the year and the time that it seems like allies of all different colors, backgrounds have been jumping in to support Black Lives Matter. And I think definitely myself included, like sometimes I think in the past people can think like it's not my battle to fight, but it's all of our battles to fight. Mm-hmm. And as allies, it's so important. So I'm really just happy to be here with you guys to talk about this and to hopefully create and spark positive change in our little world of Bravo that we can.
Yes. Yeah, no, seriously. The fact that we were able to incorporate Vanderpump into a Black Lives Matter discussion, I was like, okay, this is happening. Rivet, yeah. How are you feeling?
Yeah, initially, I have to be honest, I was very kind of disappointed in myself, because I feel like, I've been speaking out a lot, and I've been talking to family members and friends, a lot of people in the Middle Eastern community, very close-minded. And like Jane and Katie said, I don't know why this is a debate or a discussion. So I felt like I could have been doing this for years. This isn't something new. So I've been a little bit disappointed in myself, but I'm glad to see the unity. And now that we are, speaking out, and people that I've never, had any sort of in-depth conversations with, we've been having these conversations, and I think it's really important. It's a crazy time, but I think it's a good time. It's a time for change, and I think we'll never be the same in a good way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with all of you. We've all been talking every day, and that even makes me happy, because we all really talk frequently, but just about kind of like laughing stuff. But we're still talking about Black Lives Matter. We're, of course, talking about what's going on with Vanderpump. And, we're also just talking about each other and how we're all feeling, and bringing smiles to each other's faces, because I swear you guys always make me laugh when I read the chats. And Jane and I did a discussion on Saturday on her Instagram Live. And these are things that, would we have done them a month ago? So like Rivet said, it's a positive change. It's bringing, I think, people together. Like me and Jane really like talked on the phone for like the first time last week. It was dope. It's like, you know, like you're creating.
I was crying.
Yes, like it was.
Jane is a great phone companion. She's the best to talk to on the phone. I have to say, she's great. She'll be with you for 3 hours. Like, she got you. It's great.
I won't give up until one of us falls asleep.
Seriously, like you're just seeing new allies. Like people are listening. I left a comment on one of the cast members of Selling Sunset's Instagram page, and she legit like liked it and responded back to me. I'm like, whoa, like people are listening right now. And then you're seeing it happen all over the world. So despite how this can feel draining at times and daunting, there's still so much positivity coming out of it. We just have to keep up the fight. And it really brings a smile to my face every day that I know you three are true allies and are being a part of the change that we need. And then I'm just seeing it widespread. It just brings a smile to our face. Me and my ancestors, I know we are all just like, yes, finally, you know, like we're getting somewhere. And like, you know, I said in the video I released on Instagram, it's like, this is just the beginning of a very messy, very big iceberg. So it's like, stick with us. We're all in this together. We're going to get through this. It'll take time, but as long as we're all on the same page and we stick to it, it's going to happen. So that's good. I'm happy we were able to get through that, and I'm happy we're all feeling good. So now we're going to get into Vanderpump. So we are holding a special discussion. We AfterBuzz has only been doing discussions the past 2 weeks around Black Lives Matter. And they allowed us to hold this discussion because it relates to Black Lives Matter. So if you haven't heard of the controversy, Faith Stowers, a former cast member of Vanderpump Rules, did an interview on Instagram Live last week where she revealed an incident she had with Stassi and Kristen where they were calling the police, basically accusing her of a crime. It wasn't her. They just assumed that the suspect was her because it was a Black woman with a weave. And, you know, these are the words that Stassi said on her podcast. And Stassi then herself went, you know, when you go back, you'll see that these accusations are confirmed because Stassi did a podcast making light of it and joking about how her and Kristen got drunk and pretty much called the cops on Faith. And not only did they call the cops, once the cops said, we can't do anything with this, they even called the military and tried to report her as AWOL. And since then, they had really made light of it. Afterwards, Kristen also went on a podcast, admitted to it as well. This was something that was known. It wasn't an issue. And it wasn't until Faith did an interview last week amid the climate of Black Lives Matter and everyone and being a part of this fierce debate where everyone just started calling out Stassi and Kristen. And so it got widespread and it resulted in some terminations that we're going to get into. So let's get into your thoughts on the Faith Stowers interview, the revelations, Stassi and Kristen, Brittany and Jax. What do you guys think about all this? Katie.
I mean, Jax, even when he was asked about Faith after cheating on Brittany with Faith, he said like, oh no, she's crazy. Like Stassi had to call her, you know, the military on her because she went AWOL. Like, they're just like throwing stuff around out there. Like, this can ruin somebody's life. Like, what are you doing? And then the podcast, like the girl who was holding the podcast told Stassi that it was legendary that she called. Like, who sees a photo of somebody, has no idea, calls? I mean, I'm not going to yell, but I'd like to scream. Like, I'm baffled.
Right.
And like called her hair nappy at one point. Like just so many things that are just like leaving a bad taste in my mouth.
Right. Right. Rivet, what do you think?
I can't picture that they truly believed the woman in that picture was Faith. It so clearly was not.
Right.
And this was just a case of two very privileged women trying to get revenge on a woman who slept with their friend's boyfriend at the time. But like to go to that level, like I understand being petty. This was not petty. This was like disgusting. They could have ruined her life. And knowing, I'm sorry, but we've known what the police are capable and have done, especially to Black people, for years, for centuries. We might have been ignoring it a little bit, but we know very well when you call the cops on a Black person, it likely, if the cops show up, it likely is not going to end well for them.
Right.
Like, I can't fathom even doing that to, like, my worst enemy. Like, I just don't.
It's
how are they, like, sitting around getting drunk, be like, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
and
crazy.
talking about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, listen to this hilarious thing that I did. Yeah, like, no. But, like, does it shock me, though, from Stassi? I'm sorry, but, like, it doesn't, just based on the comments that she's made in the past. Like, because she has made terrible comments on the past on her podcast. So, like, this is not the first time that, like, we've seen this from her.
Right.
Yeah.
Jane.
Stassi and Kristen out Amy Cooper. Like, they took what is now being called in New York a hate crime to the next level. Like, we all, I think that was a key piece of this time around the Black Lives Matter movement coming about in what Amy Cooper did in New York, threatening to weaponize the police on a Black man who just told her to leash her dog. Like, Kristen and Stassi did that 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, maybe even less, on a girl, which this was not when cameras were rolling. This was not even, like, for the show. And people who are commenting on this, who are white and defending Stassi and Kristen, are saying, you know, like, if it wasn't about race, let's just say, for example, if it wasn't about race, let's just take race out of the equation for a second. They still, to someone who was associated with them, spent a month trying to incessantly get them arrested for something that they didn't even do. Like, say I was mad at Katie Thompson for something, and I was, like, calling the police for a month, then the military police, telling them that she drugged a man and then stole all of his stuff. And then, like, also was accusing her of, like, stealing someone's car. Like, despite all of that, even if you say it's not a race discussion, that person, that action alone is crazy, and they probably should be fired. Like, you can't just go around accusing people of these actions. So then add the race layer on top of it. It's a hate crime.
Okay.
Like, imagine if it were Britney and they, like, just saw a photo of some white girl. You think that they're just going to automatically think that it's Britney?
Exactly. And I think that's what, you know, a lot of people, and, you know, white people in particular, like, you have to keep those things in mind whenever you say the comment, it's not a race thing. You really have to just say, would that have happened if they were white? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And so that's where it's like, okay, it is a race thing. And the reason I'll even bring it back some more, you know, because I just love dragging biatches on Vanderpump. The fact that Stassi was doing this with the same person that slept with her man, you know, I love throwing that in their face. You have all this energy for Faith, who y'all don't even really know like that, but your own close friend who slept with your man twice while you were with him and while she was with another friend that you guys are all still friends with, you did not have that same energy. You did not call the cops on her. It took a couple of years for her to slap the shit out of her, but it's like, you never had that energy for Kristen. And then even when she was telling the story on the podcast, and she's like, I love Kristen. It's like, really? And then to now go into the fact that this is Jax we're talking about.
Why are we mad at Jax?
Right. They are so, like, we saw them dragging Jax on the show, but the fact that this is what was going on behind the scenes and it wasn't on the show, then we also, like, now all of Stassi's old podcasts are coming to light now. And so it's also a reminder to us fans of the show how scripted this reality series really is. Because we fell in love with the show because it was authentic, because they were really showing their lives and what was going on. And now we can see that, oh, this is who these people are behind the scenes, and y'all aren't reporting. This isn't in the show. You're making us focus on somebody's damn wedding and a lizard, when this is who the people really, you know, y'all dragged us over that damn lizard. And this is keep that same energy for Stassi and Kristen, because and Dog is our friend, by the way. He follows us on Twitter. So,
and Dog is on our side over this one.
I'm gonna start crying over this lizard right now.
No, seriously, because he is not to be forgotten. And it's like, when you think about all those things, you know, so just briefly, I do want to touch on Stassi's old podcast and what are your thoughts on like some of the things she was saying and just like how she was able to get away with it for all these years? Nobody even, it was never even, it was that one time we saw her get confronted by Billy. And they really sugarcoated it. Cause I swear if they would have really put it into perspective for me as a viewer, as a Black woman, I would have been like, oh hell, I would have been having the energy I have now then.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out the fan of the show who, the reason I found out about this is one of the fans tweeted me and was like, what do you think about this since you like Stassi so much? And I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, checked it and sent the link. And I was like, oh my God, you know, so thank you for checking me because yes, I was a big Stassi fan. And that also upsets me because it's like, I'm, you know, of course, all right, I get it. I'm Black, right? I watch Atlanta Housewives. I watch Potomac. I watch Love and Hip Hop. But it's like when I partake in a show like Vanderpump Rules, like Summer House, you know, I'm totally fine with the fact that, okay, there's no Black people on the show. I want to watch y'all. I want to see what y'all got going on. But I'm not watching this thinking that you don't want to see me or that you don't think my life matters or you look at me as a criminal. So if I do find those things out, no, I don't support you. So it's like the fact that they can kind of hide that and then get Black people. There were a ton of Black people tweeting about this. So it's like we were all disappointed. We really love this show. But yeah, what do you guys think about Stassi's podcast, if it still exists?
Let's pull out the receipts.
Jane got those receipts.
Let's go down the line of the thing, because I'm first of all embarrassed that I didn't know about these instances because they are actually well documented across like Watch What Happens Live. People have confronted her about it. Like there was a clip circulating around where a caller called in and was like, my question's for Stassi. Why are you so racist? And it just feels like this has been a giant cover up by Bravo and PR. I mean, we heard in that the editor on that podcast had said they were instructed by Bravo to make Bo and Stassi the special heroes of this show after knowing all of the things that Stassi said on her podcast. So not only was there the Oscars so white discussion where, you know, she was saying, why is it always Black people complaining? But there was also offensive comments about Me Too, basically not believing all women and saying like, I have a hard time believing that these women just like accidentally hooked up with these guys or like couldn't get out of it. All of this stuff is on the Instagram at Accountability for Stassi.
Shout out to that page.
All the receipts are on there. So not only are there awful racist comments, there's bad comments about her, you know, taking down Faith Stowers. There's bad stuff about Me Too. And then she's posted things like saying Nazi chic about her outfits on Instagram. So there's so many different things that she said. And these aren't like Max and Brett's tweets, we'll get to it, I'm sure, are awful. Yeah. Those are 10 years ago where like they made it a blip in that first reunion part to try to say like, oh, you know, this was so long ago. And that I even understand more than like, this is repetitive patterns. How Ariana was saying in the last episode, like, this is a pattern. This is who this person is about Jax. Like for Stassi, this is a pattern. This is who they are. Like Andy was saying on Watch What Happens Live, like, why do you keep saying these offensive things on your podcast and getting yourself in hot water? Like what is going on?
And you're grown. Like she always uses the excuse, like, I'm learning. Like, girl, you're 28, 29. Like there's no excuse. And I also saw a comment under, people dragging her online. And this was something I had always thought, like, they're like, we saw the episode with your father. And I remember the episode with her father when she was still dating Jax and they went out to dinner and her father was like, oh, let me pour some out for my dead homies. And I remember it just didn't sit well with me. I remember thinking like, yo, that was low-key racist. Like, And I know y'all from New Orleans, you know, so I can only imagine what y'all think with y'all Southern minds.
Okay, so you guys,
go ahead.
On that note, because we're going back to the earlier receipts. So today I was trying to watch the episode Unfaithful, season 6, episode 2. It's canceled on Hulu. It's like not available on Rivet. What's your streaming platform?
Or it's not available. The whole season.
Yeah, it's not available there. I couldn't find it on YouTube TV. It's been pulled across everything, but I found it on Amazon Prime and bought it so that I could watch.
You got it.
I was like, I need to rewatch this again because there's some reason they're covering this up.
Right.
And they did a flashback from 2012 where Lisa Vanderpump was saying, like, you know, I've always knew that Stassi was kind of a pill. They do a flashback and Lisa said, did you grab the back of her hair? And Stassi said, no, I'm not a ghetto bitch. And Lisa said, sounds like ghetto bitch.
Yes. Yes. And
remember
remember that season
right now. It's
she said that multiple times. Whenever, if someone else was acting that way, she would be like, oh, you're a ghetto bitch. Or even at that meeting, she was just like, I'm not a ghetto bitch. I wouldn't do that. Like, well, what's ghetto? You know,
here's the thing. All of this is on TV and on podcasts. So what is happening behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in her home? Like you said, like, this is a repeated pattern. I don't listen to Stassi's podcast. Like, I've never have. I'm just, like, not a podcast person. But, like, this has been public knowledge. A lot of people are in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to shout out a few comments that I agree with. Ayan says, Bravo is definitely not doing this for Black Lives Matter. It's to keep their eyes off of them. Dara says they've covered it up for years. I mean, they're right. This has been in plain sight, in front of our faces. We've all been ignoring it. Bravo is making a move now because they have to. And that's just my 2 cents on it. This has been, like, on air, readily available for any of us. And a lot of us didn't know about it. A lot of us did know about it and just brushed it under the table. And that speaks to how powerful, like, these producers, you know, they really mold these people into who we think, you know, who they think we're going to like. And we feel like we have, like, you know, relationship with them almost. Like, we love them, you know, we love Stassi, and it's just, we did. It's just crazy. The power
and to that point, Rivet, it also reflects, like, you know, how we even got to where we are today, right? How a police officer can automatically be intimidated when they see a Black person. I, as a Black woman, was loving this racist woman because of what the portrayal I saw of her on television.
Yep.
For years, for decades, there has been a lack of representation of not even just Black people, like people of color in general. So you're now made to look at white people as the example of this and that and that and this. So that's how we get to where we are today, to where you're like, wait, how was I not even noticed this up until now? Because the media didn't want you to notice this. This is what they wanted you. This is who they wanted you to support. This is who they wanted you to like. This is who they wanted you to want to look like, you know? So, Katie, any thoughts before we?
My question, and I don't support anything she's done in any way, even up to her post, which we'll get to later. But can she, because this is such a pattern, it just seems like this might be who she is. Do you think that everything happening now, there could be any, like, wake up call moment, or is she just, like, crying and, like, drinking ranch in her mansion right now with Bo? You know what I mean? Like,
first of all, I always just love when you do this. I swear to everything.
It's a moment. It's like, oh, it's dramatic in my life.
The reason I think she is feeling it, one, she just got fired. She had already lost the PR. She was starting to feel it. But when Jane corrected me and was, like, saying, like, oh, you know, other people are on the show are actually posting, like, good stuff about it. So I went into everyone. Go look at her soon-to-be husband. You can tell he genuinely cares. One, you can tell he's a good dude if you watch the show. But if you look at Bo's page, he's posting about protests. He's sharing information about, like, how you can donate. He's really saying it, Black Lives Matter, which we'll get into that, because it's really important to say Black Lives Matter. Right. Don't say Blackout Tuesday. Don't just post a black square. Like, we need to know that you understand that Black Lives Matter and why Black Lives Matter. So what I think between her husband, between all the comments, you know, she hasn't turned her comments off, between everything that's being said, I do think she's taking it all in.
Mhm.
Karma is very real. And sometimes it comes back so hard to bite you in the ass. And when it does, like you'll know instantly, like, I deserve this. And I genuinely think that, because that, that's what we liked about her, right? She was able to kind of own her shit in a way. I think she needed this. And I do think that I see that she'll be able to grow from this. I hope so, but I definitely think she will. All right. Rivet wants to just tell our listeners some important information before we carry on.
Yes, we just wanted to thank you so much for making AfterBuzz the ESPN of TV talk. Thank you for letting us do this each and every week and for tuning in. The live chat is so full of your comments. Please keep them coming. We love your opinions and thoughts. Thank you for supporting us. If you're on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and get involved in the conversation. Give us 5 stars if you're on iTunes, but wherever you are, especially for this episode, guys, we need your comments. We need your input. We need to have these conversations. And it's really important. So thank you for being here and thank you for supporting us. And
yeah. All right. So now we're going to get into the cast. And, last week with all the protests and the riots and the looting that had gone on the weekend before, last week, like, you couldn't not talk about Black Lives Matter, George Floyd.
Mhm.
So on Tuesday, there was a blackout for media professionals. And everyone that kind of worked in media, you were to, I guess, post something with hashtag Blackout Tuesday. And it was supposed to focus more on the Black Lives Matter movement. So now we saw the cast members do that. What do you guys think about the cast, their reactions to the Black Lives Matter discussion? The sincerity, like, do you think that the cast believes Black Lives Matter? From their social media. Wait,
well,
I was like, wait.
With the good.
I'm like,
let's
wait, that just sounded horrible. Do you think that Black Lives Matter?
Oh, it's a heavy one. I mean, goddamn, I fucking hope they do. If they don't, they need to be listening and educating themselves and checking themselves. And with all this all lives matter bullshit that I get on my post when I say Black Lives Matter, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, no, that's not, I'm not saying that all lives, but if all lives mattered, then George Floyd wouldn't be dead. So that's my issue here. And I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop because I'm going to just keep cussing.
I would say as a Black woman, when I'm looking at the celebrities that I follow, Black included, I've been going to like everyone's page. I want to see what you're saying about Black Lives Matter. I want to see if you genuinely care. And so when all this happened with Vanderpump, I was like going to everyone's page, and just certain people, it just comes off. And it's not just Vanderpump, right? There's what I'm about to say, it applies to all celebrities that you're in this light. Okay, we get it, right? Like we're all stressed, right? It's a freaking pandemic going on right now. People are out of work. When it comes to being a celebrity, you're now not even really knowing how your money's coming in because things are just changing, right? I get it. Then this happens. A whole race war now reignites. It's like, well, goddamn, and now you got to say something. But yes, you have to say something. And so when I just see celebrities just posting a black square and putting hashtag Blackout Tuesday, or just posting a black square with no caption, it really bothers me. Because one, you got to think about, I'll think about Elisa Vanderpump because she did that. And she had like a little caption or whatever, but it's like, again, you never once saw her say Black Lives Matter. And it's like, Elisa Vanderpump to be so passionate about dogs. So I know that if there was an all dogs matter, dogs lives matter, whatever, she would be saying it loudly because she believes in it passionately. And we want to see everyone be passionate about this. You have to be passionate about this, okay? If you are an American, you have to be passionate about this. Our history was scarred from the beginning. We were lied to. We were blinded from the beginning. And now, unfortunately, because our ancestors didn't fix it, and then they died, and it happened over a series of 100 years, now, you know, because you can't just keep sweeping stuff under the rug or trying to put all your skeletons in the closet. Eventually, you're going to open the closet door and all those skeletons are going to fall over your head. And that's what's been happening. And what I really think what the George Floyd, like, no, he wasn't the only one to get killed by police. And you know, it happens, you know, and I'm sure it'll happen again. The thing is, what really got everybody pissed off, including a lot of white people, it's like, you mean to tell me this is still happening and we're going through an international pandemic and police are still out here killing people, killing Black men, and then it was on video. We all are home. We don't have anything to do but consume. So that's why you're seeing more of a fierce backlash to it right now. A lot of people already cared. A lot of white people have already been at the protests for the past couple of years for the Black Lives Matter. But this one got a lot more people's attention because of the fact that we're in a pandemic. It's like, we always ask, when does it end? Apparently not during even a health pandemic, it doesn't end. Racism is the pandemic that we've been dealing with from the start of this shady, corrupt country. So if you are a celebrity, you have to understand, one, you got to take the time to grasp all of that, right? And it's a lot, we know. But once you grasp it, you have a platform and you have a voice and you have millions or thousands of people following you who just want to see what you have to say. And that's why you need to understand the importance of making it clear that Black Lives Matter, because we're not saying that all lives doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But if all lives matter, in that all lives mattering, there's one group of people in that all lives who seem to continuously be oppressed by systematic injustice. Mm-hmm. So is there anybody wanted to add about the social media stuff?
Yeah, I've been, the one person I noticed from Vanderpump at least was Katie's been posting a lot of resources, like almost every day, all the time. And the next thing I'm about to say, not just celebrities, but everyone in general, I've seen so many people post their Black square, but that was the first thing they posted. Or if it wasn't the first thing they posted, they were complaining about the looting and how horrible it is that our businesses are being burned down. Aww. And then you want to post a Black Lives Matter Black square because your whole timeline is doing it. So that's been really triggering for me. I don't know if we're going to, we're probably going to get into it, but Lisa's post today was, I don't support it.
I expected more.
A whole lot of nothing in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of nothing, still very tone deaf.
Mm-hmm. And Black Lives Matter.
No, just never once.
Equality and kindness.
Right. Like, okay,
and it was a pink statement.
A pink
light
background. After her last post was just of her dog saying good night. You know? And to use the guy who Roger Goodell, NFL, use him as an example, right? Because he's still getting dragged because he said the NFL admits that we were wrong for penalizing some players for peaceful protests. He's getting dragged because he couldn't even say the player who got blacklisted and lost his job over it. So it's the same thing. Like, you have to, if you're gonna post that Black square, say why you're posting the Black square. Don't just post it because your publicist told you to, because that's what it came off to me like, oh, as a brand, as a business, you have to, this is the trend right now. If you don't say something, you're going to lose hours retirement dollars, you're going to lose followers or whatever. So it came off to people like, now we're looking to see, like, do you seem genuine? Did you add like your own thought out caption to that Black square? Or did you just post Blackout Tuesday or nothing at all? And I've been calling out that with celebrities and even businesses, because you have these businesses who releasing statements. I get Roxbox. I love them. Shout out to Roxbox. But I'm about to throw some shade on you because they, you get an email like, we're with you, Black Lives Matter. Well, where's my discount? Our Ancestry.com. Let's just keep it a fact. Ancestry.com. I got to pay you $100 to find out my history that was stolen from me. And you're going to release a statement saying, we stand with you, Black Lives Matter. If you really stand with Black Lives Matter, you're going to, and remember, reparations doesn't always have to hit your pockets. Reparations is a form of acknowledgement. It's a form of having a conversation, but for a business, yes, where is my Black Lives Matter discount? And I think that's something that we, even like Black people, we have to keep pushing that out there, because we are owed. We are owed. I'm sorry. And it's something that is uncomfortable to confront, because especially it's like, if you're not even financially set, it's like, how can a Black person be like, oh, well, I'm owed? Like, no, but it's like, you have to look at the history of this country. Even till this day, where immigrants are able to come into this country and pass us by. They're able to get business loans. They're able to get grants and financing. That me as a Black person, there are legal laws that Republicans and Democrats have both voted on to keep me down. Why? I don't know. But it's true. So yes, we are owed. And for any business that wants to say Black Lives Matter, put your money where your mouth is. And for celebrities, you have to recognize why we are looking to you to say that. Okay. So now we're going to go into terminations. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Actually, no, I skipped. Okay. After Faith put them on blast, they were getting dragged. It was all over social media. It was crazy. Dog the Lizard started a Twitter. He was airing stuff out. It was crazy.
Why did I not think to start a dog Twitter first? Like, right. I'm so disappointed in myself.
No, but like, whoever is behind that account.
I still think it's one of you.
I need them to come out. I need to know who's doing it.
No, they're like too clever. I don't think it's any of us. None of us.
I think it's like Tom.
It has to be somebody really smart, because it's like the way they could give out the reads and then like relay it back to the fact that, and I'm just a lizard.
He's like, I'm a lizard, and even I'm not dumb enough to believe that. Like, the shade from this lizard is so funny.
I knew it the day Stassi tipped my tank. He said, shout out to Sheeta for buying me this iPhone so I can tweet.
It's so good.
It's like so good. It's like, you can't. Okay, so after everything was put on blast, Stassi and Kristen released eerily similar apologies at the same exact time.
They were sitting on the couch next to each other, probably. Right. It's like, is that good? You think that's good?
Their
you think that's sensitive enough?
Were sitting next to each other.
You think it's good? Should we send that?
So then from there, and I know some of you were talking about it, you were offended at some people in the comments saying, we forgive you. Let's talk about that. Rivet, I know. Go ahead, Rivet.
Dear white people, or anyone who is not Black, they are not apologizing to you. You cannot accept that apology. It is not your place. It's just mind-boggling. I think we were all like reading the comments and like just mind blown. I don't understand where they think it's their place to accept, like, Stassi, we forgive you. Like, you're okay. Like, you're growing. Like, wait, hold on. This has nothing to do with you. Sit down.
Sit down.
Well, they're probably just happy that, like, oh, okay, whew, she apologized.
Yeah.
She's posting her stuff. I can watch the show and I don't have to feel bad. Oh my God. It's fine.
Right.
That's what it's all the Karens of the world.
And
like,
can
I still watch my Vanderpump?
Yes. And for people, listen, it's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. So you better get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah. That's how I've been feeling every day. I got to wake up. I'm like, all right, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you don't even know what you're going to see. Okay. So we're running out of time. So now we're going to get into the terminations. 4 people were fired yesterday. Stassi, Kristen, Brett, and Max. What are your thoughts on that? You agree? Should more people have been fired? What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, they gotta go.
With these decisions. If you guys look at that Instagram accountability for the number 4, Stassi, and you still don't agree with her firing, I'm confused by you and your opinions, because the amount of things, it's not just Black Lives Matter, it's Me Too, it's like anti-Semitism, it's bizarro. I don't know how she has so many controversial opinions, but sis needs to be educated on multiple fronts. So I think she needs to take a little time out and think about it and figure out her way onto a different reality show when she has changed her whole mind about everything. But she did get fired from Bravo, and she also got dropped by her PR agency. She got dropped by her agency, UTA. She got dropped by her publisher. She got dropped by radio.com for her podcast. She got dropped by all of her sponsorships. Kristen, I think she should be canceled right now as well. Max and Brett, I think I don't understand why they were promoted to mains after they had said such offensive comments. If you guys Google the tweets, like they're so offensive. The receipts are there. They're using the N-word multiple times and their stuff was rewarded for it. I don't know why Jax is still here. And I know you guys are sounding off in the comments. You don't know why he's still here either. He's said racist things. He's said homophobic things. He was, like you guys said, I mean, saying that Faith went AWOL and was wanted for Grand Theft Auto for stealing someone's car. Like the amount of stuff that he's done that's offensive, I don't understand why, which I know we were talking about this as well with producers making excuses and things. The Vanderpump Rules Party podcast, I heard that they were talking about from some producer that they know, this is a known thing amongst Vanderpump Rules that apparently the producers, editors, everybody on site is covering up for multiple homophobic and racist things that are said by the cast, specifically by Jax, Brittany, and Stassi. Allegedly. That's what we've heard. So it's been a cover up. We know it's a cover up. Even in the first reunion, part 1, when they were talking about, you know, now it's your time, Max and Brett, like say your piece about the tweets. And Lisa said, if I were going to fire you guys for every offensive thing you say, I wouldn't have a cast. And
basically defended them
to the core. And that kind of felt like how her Instagram her post from today was too. So I think that Jax and Brittany should perhaps bounce out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from the looks of everything, I'm really not even sure what the future of the show is, because it just seems like it's like canceled. Like people are so turned off. I'm not gonna lie, I'm turned off. Like even with them firing Stassi and Kristen, like just from the way Lisa Vanderpump, her response today, I just like feel like I can't support you, miss. Like you don't support me. You're admitting that, yeah, you have a diverse staff, but you allow for only the white people to be on your show. And you're just saying it like, and I believe for equality for all. Again, you don't want to say Black Lives Matter. And I get it, you're from London, but y'all started this technically. Let's keep it a buck. They brought that racism from UK.
Hot off the press, Sarah in our chat just said accountability for Stassi just deleted all the posts.
Oh snap!
And they were taking down all those episodes today.
Well, remember the accountability for Stassi's IG story said that like their team, whatever Bravo, were starting a cancel.Stassi page to try to get the accountability for Stassi page taken down as like a replica or whatever. So they've been working hard behind the scenes to get that page down. So damn, it's messed up. But we'll just now briefly go into some news. I know, Jane, you have some news for us.
Yes. So a few quick things for news. I wanted to cover off quickly on Faith has been doing a ton of press, which by the way, Jeroslyn and I are going to be chatting with Faith Stowers tomorrow for AfterBuzz at 2:00 Pacific time. So definitely tune into that. We'll have a live feed as well. So come hang with us. But Faith has been doing a ton of press, and she said regarding Jax, I didn't even know the depth of crazy things that they were saying. And so like I got DMs from the other shows, from other females on the show saying that Mr. Taylor had said some crazy things to them that were racial. So I think he gets a pat on the back a lot. But I think that if you're going to do it for two people, they should do it for some other people as well. So she was saying she thinks Jax needs to be fired. She also said that Lala apparently reached out to her while all this was happening and said she apologized, and she told her that she wanted a clean slate, and she thanked her and gave her condolences. And so maybe they'll be moving forward, apparently.
Lala appropriation better apologize. I was disappointed to see Lala's name mixed into that she was like planting things to see if Faith would steal it. Like, I was like, Lala, come on now. With those lips, girl, cut it out.
Yeah, we didn't even get into the appropriation discussion much, but Lala did like mute all of her comments on the most recent posts of Black Lives Matter. She has been out there protesting, but people are coming at her for appropriation. Okay, so Bravo posted about the firings officially on their Instagram. And a lot of the cast members, specifically from Atlanta and Potomac were commenting with their thoughts. So definitely check those out, you guys, because the comments are wild. But I wanted to highlight one from our Miss Nini Leaks. She said, well, alrighty then. Now we have a few more questions to ask about in other areas where there's a major difference. Should we talk privately or publicly? And many other cast members were offering some suggestions of like how you need to have your POC cast members be able to have like a union and talk about what they need and want. So it seems like there's some other issues that the castmates have across multiple different shows. And so hopefully they'll be able to share their piece and create positive change moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I do think will come out of this, and I look forward to it. So now, just lastly, what do you guys think is the future of VPR? Rivet?
I don't know at this point how it can move forward. Like, they fired who they needed to fire, but it's too little too late. This should have happened. Like we all said, I think they were forced to have this happen. A major change, a major shift needs to happen. And I'm not saying, just bring like 5 Black people on there. Right. No, that's going to feel too forced. They need to somehow organically make us believe that you believe that Black Lives Matter, that you give a shit about this, and that this is not just a PR stunt, and that you're, following the trends right now.
Right.
And a question though that like I have is, why is it only Atlanta? Why is it only Potomac? And just now Beverly Hills? Like, why? I don't understand. And then your Bravo goes and cancels Southern Charm New Orleans, the only show that has ever talked about Black Lives Matter. I watch everything Bravo, and I was on that panel for AfterBuzz. They talked about it, and they talked about those issues, and they canceled that, but we still have racist ass regular Southern Charm New Orleans. No, we don't.
Yeah, Bravo fans are mad. Jane, what do you think?
You know what? I think that this show is on life support, but I think it can have a future. I think that they need to get rid of Jax for anyone to feel any sense of like validation in this whole fight. But I feel like there is hope in the newbies. Because we were talking about before who's been posting, who's been saying what. After the part 1 of the reunion, Charlie sent in all caps on Twitter. She was like, if you guys even think about asking me about pasta right now, like, look at what's going on in the world. Black Lives Matter, and it's way more important than any drama from the show. I'm paraphrasing, but that was her message.
Yes.
She's been posting galore on Twitter.
Yes.
Dana has, like, everyone from the next generation seems to care, and everyone from the old OG crew seems to be posting and just getting berated to the point where they have to remove their comments. So I feel like if they want this show to have a future, they kind of know what to do and leave it to the people who are the next wave. And Lisa said in her post, which we did not like, that there are so many diverse people who work at all of her restaurants. And this show only focuses on a specific small group of people who work there who are not of diverse color whatsoever. So if they want it to continue, maybe figure out how to get some of the people who are already ingrained in your culture of the restaurant on camera. It doesn't seem like it's that hard. But
maybe Stassi can get a job at Hidden Valley, like doing something with ranch. Like maybe that is her next stop. An idea.
Like I Love Lucy on the conveyor belt, guzzling ranch.
But this does need to happen at this point because it's the only way Mean Girl Stassi, as much as we loved her at one point, she needs to learn. And it's harsh and it sucks for her right now, but this is the only way she's going to have a wake-up call.
That's right. I love you all. I agree with you all. I'm not gonna lie, I love the show too much. I am gonna watch like the first episode just to get a scope of what they're gonna do for the next season. But if I'm not feeling it, then I'm checking out. But so I'm watching next season just to be like, what y'all gonna do? Nothing? Okay, bye. But on that note, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for everyone in the live chat. You can follow me at Jeroslyn Diva on Instagram and TikTok at Jeroslyn Diva08, and that's Jeroslyn Diva. Rivet.
And you can find me at Rivet Sorro on all social media platforms. And guys, I love when you message us and we have these conversations in the DMs. It means a lot. And, you know, we don't know if we're going to see you next season or not. So make sure to follow us, connect with us, talk to us, and we love you guys. Thank you.
Katie.
Yes.
Okay.
Couldn't have said it better. I'm at Jane Johnsen, JohnSen on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Come find me. Let's hang out.
And you can find me everywhere at Little Baby Kate's. I almost said your handle, Rivet. Like I literally almost out of my mouth. I almost said your name. But it's at Little Baby Kate's. I have a podcast called See You Next Tuesday. Come listen to it. It's a really fun time. And yeah, I love you all. Oh my God.
And she doesn't say racist things on her podcast. So listen to hers.
I do not. And it's so easy not to when you're not.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll hopefully see you next season.
Yeah, and check out our interview with Faith tomorrow. Yeah, love you guys.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.